What's up, everybody? Ozzy Driss here. This is episode number 2 on season number 2 of the Lykeminded podcast. Today I have a special guest with me. This is one of my earliest clients. Yes, another one of my earliest clients on the podcast here. I have none other than Ashley YangTao.
Hello.
Hello, Ashley.
Yes, hi.
Yes, welcome. Welcome us to the studio here.
Yes.
Because as you can see with the background and everything like that, we are not at the Wing Group podcast studio. We are in Roseville, Minnesota at the Workroom. And Ashley was gracious enough to let us use the space. Granted, it's part of my deal here because I'm a teacher. So, but Ashley, thank you again for coming on.
Yes.
For the rest of the audience here who might have a clue of who you are, but for those that don't, why don't you go ahead and reintroduce yourself, since I already kind of did it, but go over your background and whatnot, and we can expand on that.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley YangTao. I am a Hmong American woman born and raised here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I've danced all my life since I was 3. Grew up dance competition studio, went to St. Paul Conservatory for Performing Artists with the emphasis in dance there, graduated high school, went to the University of Minnesota, did a BIS major, so I did communications, digital media, and then Asian languages with an emphasis in Hmong. From there, I worked corporate for 5 years at the Star Tribune as a product manager. And then I decided to go on my own and opened a ton of different businesses, and the Workroom is one of them.
So Ashley and I know each other through dance. I think everyone here knows I have an extensive dance background, street dance background. And everyone's like, well, what kind of? No, street dance, club dance background. That's how Ashley and I have known. We've known each other for how long already?
I've known you since I was 16.
And how old are you now again?
I'm 27, so 11 years.
Dear God. Yes. Well, okay. So, it's been a while. Yes. And, like I said, Ashley here is one of my earliest clients. You probably saw the last episode that I was on. I brought on Lou, and Ashley was basically my second client. Both, obviously, dance studios. Mm-hmm. And, that was like a mission of mine, too, or an intention of mine when I got into commercial real estate was I want to find a way to somehow give back to the dance community and serve the dance community other than, through teaching and competing, entertaining, all that, the whole nine on that. But what can I do on a business level? So then Ashley reached out and, and also the person who partnered up with me on the deal was Jay. So shout out to Jay Mawas. Because it was like I think I was only a few months into having my license. So I was like, dude, I don't want to underdo this for you. I don't want to underserve you on this. So let me bring in Jay, who has a little bit more experience than I do. And, obviously we got the deal done and more to come, right?
Yeah.
But how's it been so far, having your own space? Because I know for a minute you were renting out space from different studios. I mean, you rented out space from one of the previous studios that I used to teach at called All Day, and you had your event, Be Your Best.
Yes.
How does it feel having your own space?
Yeah, so before we opened Workroom, we did studio rentals for 3 years. So we did Be Your Best at like House of Dance. We did it at All Day Studio. We were at Urban Dance Productions in Coon Rapids. We were like all over the Twin Cities. The Firm, which is now closed. It was just really hard to get studio rentals. So then I approached you and we decided to open the Workroom, and now we just hit our 3 years. So that's pretty amazing. I think the cool thing about, having my own space is I get to control the schedule, who teaches here, similar to, you in terms of like, what does the community need? And like, where can we like flourish in specific styles or training, and really just creating a community of adults who love and share the same passion of dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice, because even though if you don't own the building, you're still the owner of the space itself. And we always tell all our clients is that anything that happens within the 4 walls of your space, you are in charge of, you're responsible for. So anything that happens in here, as long as it's legal, you can do. Whether you need to paint, put in flooring, mirrors, the whole nine. No, that's great. And you've definitely, added more value to the dance community here by having the studio. I will say it was quite fun and somewhat challenging trying to find you a space because your main priority was no poles.
Yes,
I'm
very particular.
Yep, no pillars. So I was like, dang, every space that we see has pillars. Yes. What are we going to do? And then parking now parking is becoming an issue now because you're getting more members into the studio. And then especially, I remember we were talking the other day and you mentioned that during the 3-year, which unfortunately I wasn't here for that. I was in Vietnam or somewhere. You're like, we kind of flooded the parking lot here. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, 3 years left, huh?
Yeah.
Time to find something here. But yeah, we have a couple of things in the works. Stay tuned. Anyways, no, that's great. So business or dance is one of your businesses, but why don't you go into what your other businesses are? You don't have to go too depth into it, but just to kind of give people
so before opening the Workroom, I have a salon in Woodbury called Lavish Beauty Bar. We do everything: eyelash extensions, hair extensions, microblading, nanoblading, waxing. So it's really a beauty bar more specific to the face. And I've had that for 3.5 years. And then the other one I have is real estate investing called Freestone. And we basically just flip houses and sell them and buy land, build houses, and continue that process over and over.
Entrepreneur. That's amazing. And on top, because you're still at Star Tribune?
No. So I left Star Tribune 2 years ago.
Okay.
I was working probably like 80, 90-hour weeks. But I was like, something has to go. And there was just no way that I could, maintain a corporate 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But I was like, do the 9 to 5 to fund my 5 to 9. So
Right.
Yes.
In the beginning, that's how it really goes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then you realize, like, dang, this 5 to 9 literally just flipped up and became like a 6 to 10.
Yes.
Like a 6 to 10 or a 6 to 11. You're like, geez. And I get a little taste of it too, being in commercial real estate, because we're all technically entrepreneurs as well. Is that business is constantly running through your head. You never let it go. You never turn it off. Vacations aren't really vacations, because as long as you have your phone with you, or as long as you're breathing, and living day to day, you're still thinking about your business no matter what.
Right. Yes.
I think definitely with you, it's like you have multiple businesses that you have to think of. Where with me, I just have, 2, being in the F&B business and then being in commercial real estate. So I can't even imagine trying to run a dance studio right now. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine trying to run a dance studio. Like, one of the, it wasn't really a goal of mine, I would say, but, someone once asked me, what's your goals with dance? You've been doing this for like over 20 years. What do you want to do? Do you want to open up a dance studio? I was like, absolutely not. I do not want to open up a dance studio, because for me, whoever does, like, high praise and, nothing but guts, because I think it's such a competitive market. And then if you don't have a specific niche, like with us here, it's, street dance styles mainly, right? And adult classes.
Yes.
But then with a lot of studios, it's like primarily competitive kids. And then I look at it this way too, is if you haven't really built some sort of name for yourself, or if you haven't really done anything with a specific community, it's going to be a little challenging.
Yeah.
And if nobody likes you, that's another thing too. But yeah, so for me, it's just, I'd rather not deal with that. And then scheduling and then working with dancers, it's just like everyone has their own lives. It's not like in Europe or Asia where they're literally 9 to 5.
Yes.
Here it's like, these are our side gigs.
Yes.
This is like a passion project for us, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's insane. So, 3 years, how has it been so far?
It's been amazing. Like, the relationships that have come out of the studio, like, I see romantic relationships, friendships. I've seen, students who are now becoming instructors and having their own time slots. We have a troupe called Crush, who's also 3 years old this year. And we are a cabaret group who perform all over the Twin Cities, and now we're doing consistent gigs at like VFW. We're getting booked out at corporate parties. Like, it's like pretty awesome to see dancers getting paid for their time, especially in Minnesota in this industry. And that was something that I've always wanted to, is like the industry side of just being a paid dancer and what that's like. I think Minnesota, we only have our really big audition of the year, which is the Minnesota Timberwolves. But, you know, I feel like once you've been doing that for so long, like, what is the next step? So I was like, I've been with Timberwolves for 8 years, and I was like, okay, like, it's kind of the same thing every year. Like, how can we continue to grow outside of, you know, sports teams? How can we go to venues and clubs, or we've done music video shoots or different castings for commercials? Because I feel like dancers are the all around type of person that you would need to be on set, because we can move, we can act, some of us can sing, you know, we're very agile and adaptive in comparison to some of the other talents that you do see.
Yeah, I agree. We have a lot of business owners that watch this podcast, and a lot of them are like, they like to throw events, you know, and just to kind of educate them, especially if they look on hiring dancers or performers or artists and whatnot. What would you say your average rate is for hiring a dancer? And it could be like a corporate event, or it could be just like a simple, I don't know, like a anniversary party and whatnot. What would you say would be a standard here in Minnesota? Because obviously everywhere else is a little different. If you're in LA, pay up. But I think here in Minnesota it's a little bit more lenient, but still has to be fair. What would you say that average rate would be?
It really just depends on what it is you're asking. You know, as a dancer, doing a 5-minute set takes a lot of rehearsal time, rehearsal space, coordinating schedules, how many dancers you want. So we ask you a variety of questions before we pitch you our quote, just because there's so many different ways you can utilize dancers. So, for example, if you are wanting to just like liven up the space and you hire go-go dancers, or sometimes we call them atmosphere dancers. They just help generate, you know, good vibes at the party. That can, you know, range from like $100 an hour per dancer, or sometimes we'll do a flat rate depending on if you want us for a longer duration. And then if you're looking for like a conference and you want us to do some sort of performance, usually we go by the length, and then we go by how many dancers you're looking to inquire. Normally with groups, we always say like at least a minimum of 5 or more, just so that way the stage feels full. Unless it is a smaller stage, then we're like, okay, 3 is a good amount. But solos are harder to work with in terms of like making it more of a lively feel. And so more dancers is always the better for both parties. Right.
I agree. You know, that's one thing too that I think surprises a lot of people, is that they don't take into consideration that rehearsal costs money, you know, because you got to rent space out for one, especially if you want to rehearse properly. Like here at the Workroom, you rent the space out for rehearsals. It can be any type of deal, right? And this stuff is not cheap, man. I mean, like dancers, I know just firsthand, like we put our bodies through a ton of crap, you know, granted, and we try to stay as healthy as we can on top of that, but still then it's like there's injuries left and right. And if you really want to get down to the specifics, it's like, you know, dancers insurance, that's another thing, or artist insurance, that's another thing that you don't take into consideration. Anything can happen. Well, anything that you want to go over, anything that you're excited about, that you want to promote. I mean, this is a platform here, too, to promote any type of business that you have as well. You know, this is for you.
I mean, I think specifically for the dance studio, there's really no age limit into when you can dance or learning how to dance, which I think is like super awesome. Like here at the studio, we have a range from, you know, 13-year-olds who come to the studio, and then I think the oldest client we've ever had was 79, which is pretty awesome. A 79-year-old in their heels, mind you. And it's like, I don't know, it's like dance is like a universal language that you can do whatever it is that you want to do when you want to do it. Whether it's big movements, small movements, it doesn't matter. I think the most important thing, especially just in general is that you're just moving your body. And I think the longevity of dance too is like you can dance at any age. So if that's like one thing that I could like put out, like get into a dance class, whether it's here or somewhere else, just go dance.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, that's amazing too, right? Because just like you said, dance is such a universal language. Literally, I mean, travel to different parts of the country and then different parts of the world, and you don't have to speak the same language, but you can communicate through movement. That's always been such a fascinating thing to me. And it's not even just movement, but like music in general too, right? Like entertainment, like everyone, you'll find someone that likes the same thing that you do.
Right.
You know, and you can connect on that, and you still don't have to understand what each other's saying. But it just, it's a beautiful thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. With your other businesses and whatnot, 3 years on everything, I feel like is...
Yeah, so, I've had Freestone for 4 years, and then coming up 4 years on Lavish, and then 3 years on Workroom.
Wow.
So, like, after college, everything kind of just, like, go.
Yeah. Do you ever take breaks? Do you ever take vacations?
Yes, I think that as a business owner, you have to give back to yourself in order to give. So, you know, like you said, even when I'm on vacation, you're always still working, but sometimes you just have to put the phone down or fill your day with an activity. So like me and my boyfriend will go hiking where I literally am forced to have no service. And then, you know, shit kind of hits the fan when I come back to service. But
of course.
Now I'm like, you know, that wasn't that bad. But escaping is really nice, or like even just like the do not disturb function. Like, and lately I've been, you know, as a business owner, you always feel some sort of burnout stage. Like, and usually that burnout stage is like every 3 weeks for me, where I'm like, okay, I just need a moment to just do nothing. And so like, I have been very strict about not answering, you know, messages on a Saturday, because we're not even open on Saturday. So just being very like mindful, like, okay, on the weekends, like if whoever's messaging me about an inquiry or something, like, hey, this is going to take, you know, 24 to 48 hours over the weekend, like having those automatic replies. And automation is also just like super helpful in general, just so that way they're getting some sort of response versus no response. So creating those automations is like life-saving for me.
Do you find yourself using like AI? Because I know a lot of businesses are pivoting towards AI right now.
Yes. So we are starting to implement new programs that respond right away, just because I'm like, I don't know, I feel like with marketing and the way things work now, like you have to be really quick into responding. So using AI for like those basic like questions, but for the most part, I do like to be more personable, because you can tell when AI is, messaging you back.
For sure.
But yeah, AI has been super helpful, or just even like idea generation or generating, creating those like new ideas that you didn't even think of. And then not only that, I'm like, as a business owner who doesn't have partners in any of these businesses, besides my managers, sometimes like bouncing ideas off, it has been really tough, just because they don't have the same mindset as I do.
Right.
But like talking back and forth, like, oh, like, you know, creating new ideas is super helpful. And then what is it called? I've joined a program. It's like a mastermind program where I am, you know, in a room full of other entrepreneurs, small business owners in the health and fitness related field, health, fitness, and beauty field. So like just bouncing ideas off of them has been super helpful every week. Talking about like what are you implementing in your studio? What Black Friday deals are you doing? Like, how are you doing some win backs, lead generations, things like that, where I'm like, oh, I never had someone to talk to about those things. So it's really nice to be in a room full of people who are like-minded.
Yeah. Damn right. No, that's amazing. One thing I know, too, about a lot of successful people that I know personally is that all of them are in masterminds. It's essentially a glorified support group, right? Because at the end of the day, like you said, you can get burned out. So sometimes you need to talk with people or connect with people that have that same vision or that same drive that also get burned out too. So you guys can bitch and whine together. Yeah. But no, I get it. You know, to me, I mean, even in the dance community, we have masterminds. Those are our crews, right? Those are the people, like our companies.
Yes.
And when who you just connect with, like, I consider you being in a mastermind with me when it comes down to dance, because like I could just connect with you on that level and be like, dude, this. What can we do to promote, or what can we do to build a community, and yada yada. So.
When we opened the Workroom, for an entire year, I was just studying studios, traveling. So I went to the East Coast, I went to Florida, I went to California, talked with those business owners and kind of just get a feel of like what is working for them, what's not working for them, if they were available. So taking all these classes in all these areas, because I'm like, the Midwest, we kind of bridge the gap between East Coast and West Coast. So our app is East Coast space, but our model of the studio is West Coast space. And kind of like bringing those elements into one space. So at first it was really hard to get people to get onto the app. Like that was something new that just wasn't common here. And now I feel like it's starting to become a norm to download an app and like use it. It's just really easy for user function. Like everything's saved on there. You don't have to, type in the website every time. It's just right on the right on your phone. And so you can sign up for classes on the Workroom app, or you can do it online as well as the workroommn.com. And basically once you put a card on file and you fill out the waiver form, you can sign up for all the classes or memberships right at the touch of a button. And then you just show up to class. I think the hardest thing about signing up for a class, especially if you don't know anyone, is showing up. Yeah. And that goes for anything, I feel.
I found that it's easier for me to take a class if I don't know anyone because I'm not distracted.
Yeah.
And I'm not really like second guessing myself like, damn, what is this person? How do they feel about the way I'm taking this class right now? It's just me focusing and trying to figure out like, okay, this is what I need to do, yada, yada, this and that. But go over the type of disciplines or styles that we teach.
Yes. So we do a variety of styles. We have heels offerings from beginner to advanced. We have hip-hop commercial. We have just regular hip-hop. Ozzy here teaches house at the studio and then hosts free house session too. So the one thing about that is like it's free. So building community and like that style is super helpful. We have whacking. We have contemporary. We have our morning fitness. So in the morning, if you like small group fitness where you're just looking to strength train, you're looking to condition, maintain a healthy lifestyle, we have that in the morning. There is a ton of different styles that are being offered here. And then we also do pop-ups. So like we have Afro every other week. We have twerk classes. It's really just about moving and having fun. And then majority of our teachers too have so many other disciplines under their belt that will do those pop-ups.
Yeah. Like me, I think I've done like a rocking workshop.
Yeah.
Before here, I might have done a top rock, or more so rocking.
Yes.
And that was always fun too. But obviously, house is like my main style or discipline in dance. So, well, cool. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Thank you again for
Yes.
joining us on the Lykeminded podcast.
Of course.
You're amazing friend, amazing business owner, just a really fun and great person to know. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Social media.
Yes. You can find us at theworkroom.mn on all platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And then you can find me at Ashley YangTao on all platforms as well.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.